Welcome.
Hi.
So good to see you
Yeah.
all. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think we've got it all set up. So we're also live on Instagram. This
Oh,
is fun. So just to let you guys know too. Um, oh, this is so cool. Okay, so Zoom, I didn't realize that we could make Zoom go live on Instagram as
yeah.
well,
Cool.
but we can. It's great. Let's see. I might actually do this and see if that's better for Instagram. Oh my gosh, Kylie, it's so good to see you. I feel like it's been so long.
Yeah, a lifetime it feels like.
Oh my gosh, you're just the cutest. Thank you so much for coming on. We are we're expecting some more people to come on as well, but would love to get started with just maybe letting everyone know. Well, okay, I'll give a little introduction first and then we'll go into it. We've got Jordan on here too. Oh, looks like Emily is here. Amazing. All right. So, I am so grateful to have we've got some HHH people who are currently in Happy Healthy Habits. We've got people who have been in Happy Healthy Habits in the past. We've got people who are going to share their transformations with you guys. So I am really, really excited for this. I think that everyone's going to get a lot out of um, learning about how happy healthy habits might help you as well. Because I've been talking about happy healthy habits like for, however long. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I've been telling you guys about it, especially in the past week. And you know that I love it and that I'm really passionate about it and, all of that. And it's way more powerful to hear from other people who've actually been through the program to see how it might actually work for you as well. Because, everyone loves their baby. Everyone loves their own baby, right? So it's helpful to hear from other people as well. So we are going to dive deeper into all of that today. And again, I'm so incredibly grateful for you guys for showing up and sharing, just like being so generous in sharing your story and sharing um you know the hard times and the great times and all of the things, because I think it's so helpful to hear, even if you guys don't, if you decide not to join Happy Healthy Habits, hopefully you will experience some benefit from hearing these stories as well. You might also hear some like tips and tricks. So for how to create change in your life and to create the healthiest, happiest life possible. So, with all of that being said, welcome. It's so good to have you here. Emily, you weren't here before, but we are also live on Instagram. So, just to let you know, I figured out a way to make Zoom go live on Instagram, which I'm very excited about. It's super fun. Um, and it looks like Todd's also here. Hi, Todd. Todd's just here listening. If you don't have your video on, it looks like that won't be shown to Instagram. It's only if you have your video on, is what I'm seeing currently on Instagram. So thanks for being guinea pigs with this. But um, if you're ever like, I don't want to be seen right now, you can totally do that. And we'll go with that. And we've got Erica on now too. This is gonna be fun. All right. So, Erica, oh my gosh, so good to see you. Amazing. Just to let you know, we are also live on Instagram. I'm just making sure that it's clear. Okay, sweet. Amazing. So let's start by having you guys, before we even dive into like where you were before, where you are now, let's just start with maybe introduction, where you are from, maybe how you heard about Happy Healthy Habits, and maybe like a little fun fact about you. I know you all have very fun facts, so if you can't think of one, maybe I can try to think of one for you. Erica, you have plenty of fun facts. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Yes, Kylie.
Okay, I'm Kylie Kowalski. I'm trying to think of the exact dates I was in HHH. I'm trouble with time. I think it was 2021, like fall to fall 2022-ish.
I think so,
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Um, I'm from Grand Haven, Michigan, and I heard about the program just, I guess, I'm not really sure, but like locally, because me and Hadley grew up in the same area. So I kind of always knew about it. And I think my mom suggested it to me actually, because she like read all of Hadley's posts and she said, like, Kylie, you should do this. So
I
it was her
love it.
suggestion. Um, and then a fun fact.
Surprisingly, actually, that has happened with multiple people where like their moms are the ones that have been following me and then they recommend it to their kids.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Um, okay, then a fun fact is, I guess this isn't really fun, but it's more, well, it is fun, I guess, about me is I got pregnant and had a baby during the time I was in the program, and then I'm also working on my doctorate in psychology, and I'm almost done with that. So I was like kind of in the middle of it when I was doing the program.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was a big transition year for you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So amazing. I'm really excited for everyone to hear about that one because yeah, like that your whole journey with that is just pretty phenomenal. So amazing. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go. I'm also from Grand Haven, so I was like, I'll go.
Hey, that should
Um,
hang.
yeah, yeah. I'm Emily. I am from Grand Haven. I live here. I found out about the program through we were connected on social, or I became connected with you on social, and we were like DMing or something about pitta problems, which if you don't know what that means, you will. If you go in the program. And then you sent me one of your videos and it very much resonated with me, and I just felt like I was in a place where I wanted to make a change, and you know, as someone who's an overachiever and like checks all the boxes but like wasn't feeling super awesome, I'm like, okay, obviously what I'm doing is not working, so let's see what else there is to figure this out. um and I've been in since May of
Yeah.
2023. Yeah.
Yes.
um a fun fact about me. I guess I always use this as my fun fact, but I met my husband on Tinder in college, or senior of college, and he's from Brazil. And we dated long distance between Chicago and Brazil for like several years, and then we got married in 2018. And like since then, I've been to Brazil like 5 or 6 times. I just love it. But he's here now, so no more long distance. But yeah, a Tinder success story. I don't think Tinder's the same anymore. This was like in 2014. So
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That makes me so happy. Yes, we've got people from all over, and actually one of the people in Happy Healthy Habits was in Brazil for the holidays, and Emily was like,
yes.
so fun, so fun. Awesome. Thanks, Emily. Erica or Jordan, you want to go?
I'll go right quick.
Yeah.
Um,
Jordan, are you able to come onto camera so people can see you on Instagram as well?
yeah. One second, I just got finished coming from the gym. I'm gonna put my camera on parking.
Oh yeah, no worries.
It's kind of dark where I'm at though. Hold on.
We can have Erica go first if you want.
It's cool. I'm ready.
Oh, okay, sweet.
So a little bit about me. I joined Healthy Habits like 2 years ago.
I think
It's
it
been
was
a
like
great.
3 or 4. Wait, three,
It
probably
has.
three. It's
I
been
think I
so
was
long, I know.
22. No, was that 23? It's been a while, but
I know it's
like,
it's 2024 now. So,
yeah,
so
it's been a while. Time
it's been a
flies so
while.
fast, but I mean, it's been a great experience or whatever. It's a fun fact about me. Um, I don't know, like I love sports. I play basketball, tennis, golf. I
Mm.
just love all sports. So
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you played
yeah,
tennis and golf too. I know you play basketball and stuff, but that's cool. So
yeah. So
well-rounded.
right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so fun
So
fact.
many things. Yeah, and
Mhm.
Jordan has been in the program for years. Because I think I remember talking to you in 2020
It was
because
in 2020. You right? Yeah.
yeah, because so how I think about this is I literally am like, where was I living? Because I've been traveling around for the past 4 years. So I'm like, where was I living when I had the first conversation with you? And I think I was in San Diego the first time and talking to you on the phone. So that's so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
And Jordan has so for those of you who are watching, he's been in the program because he's been a mentor. So he's been a mentor since, finishing the program himself. We have mentors who have come through and they mentor the people who are new members coming into the program so that they are provided with accountability and someone to kind of help them along the journey in happy, healthy habits. And it is really awesome. Our mentors are phenomenal. So yeah. So thanks, Jordan.
No problem.
And yeah, and Erica, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Erica. And actually Jordan is my mentor, so it's really
Yes.
nice. It's the first time we see each other's faces too, so that's really nice. So it's
I
nice to
love that.
meet you. And yeah. And also, okay, I am from Los Cabos, Mexico, but I live in San Diego. And I heard about the program because I talked to you about it in the women's group
Yes.
reunion
We were like
in
at a
San
party.
Diego. Yeah, we're in a little party, and I'm like, I'm just going through all these things, and you're like, well, that's exactly what I do for people, and I'm like, okay, and then you sent me everything. I'm like, okay, and
Let's
I
do
actually went through with it. I
it.
did it, and yeah, and it's been since October of this year, last year,
Mm,
2023. And yes, that's how
yes.
long it's been. So,
Amazing. I love it.
oh,
Yes.
fun fact, right? Fun fact. Um, okay, this is a fun fact that's like in my past that happened. When I was 15, I did track. I did 100 meters
I love it.
track,
Oh
and I
my
was
God.
the fastest girl in my category in Baja California, like the two states, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, like it happened by accident, like I would win every year, like the sports like school thing, and then they had other schools, and then the state, and then the other. So
Oh my gosh,
that's
I
a
love
little fun
that.
fact.
That's a really fun fact. I knew that you played sports and you played soccer and stuff, but I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I love it. So many sporty people
I
in
know.
here. Oh my gosh. So good. We can talk about uh relationship with exercise too, because I know that a lot of times people who used to play sports when they were kids can get like a wonky relationship with exercise, including myself. I was a swimmer. So we can talk about that if you'd like to. Um, but yeah, awesome. Thank you
Of
all
course.
so much for sharing. And so now I kind of so what I'm kind of wanting to do is kind of going back and forth between everyone, just to make it dynamic, just to make it so that, we kind of have some structure to it. So I would love to have you guys share where you kind of started out coming into the program, why you wanted to join, but also like like kind of paint a picture for us of like what it was like. And sometimes it's hard to think of. Sometimes it's like hard to remember because when we've come so far. So if you can think back and remember like what was it actually like being in your body, being in your experience before you started. So we've got people who've been in it from like at lots of different points in time. Like Jordan's been in it for years. Kylie was in it a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We've got people who are in it now. Emily's been in it since May. Eric has been in it since September. So we've got people like, this is a great mix of people to kind of show everyone how things have changed for you since you first started. So does anybody want to go first with kind of painting that picture for everyone?
I guess I'll go first before I forget. Like, think about as you were talking. So when I started, I kind of already like alluded to, I'm a pretty, health conscious person, and was still not feeling super great. A lot of stress and anxiety. And when I started implementing the habits, the first habit, earlier, lighter dinner, I knew as soon as even before I signed up, I saw it on the website. I'm like, oh God. Cause I eat dinner at like, let me change this. I used to eat dinner, not now. I used to eat dinner at like between 9 and 10 p.m. Like I was just like, my schedule was like so off, or I didn't really realize it was off at the time, but I would eat dinner so late, and then in the morning I wouldn't eat like anything. I would have just coffee. Like your girl was running on like 3 cups of coffee on an empty stomach until like 11, and then I would have a smoothie. Like, and I'm like, why am I stressed? Like, so it took once I got in the program, I knew that habit was going to take some time for me, and I was like, okay, accepting of it. A little bit at a time, not trying to like all of a sudden make a drastic change because it won't stick. So just like little by little, like inching my dinner back, inching back, and then it kind of allows all the other habits and things to fall into place. And it was hard at first because I was like, what am I going to do with myself? Like I have all this time. Like my thing was like eating dinner, watching TV at the same time, and then going to bed. Like, I'm like, what am I going to do? What with this time? And so now it's just, as I've shifted, my body, picked up on the cues of that. So like I'm hungrier much earlier, because I always was like, I can't eat at 6:37. I'm not even hungry. Gross. But like as I'm adjusting, my body is naturally responding. And it like over time, little by little, I remember being like, okay, I'm going to have my last bite by 8:30. Okay, I'm going to have my last bite by 8, or, over time. And it's just been really, I mean, the domino effect of that, just that first habit, has had such a profound impact on my health and like how I sleep and, my morning, how I'm feeling, etc. So it's definitely, I mean, that one I knew was going to be challenging for me, and I just kind of went into it accepting that. And, not perfect. It's not perfect every time, but I just feel like overall these habits have had such a impact on like other things I didn't even think of. I just had this realization. I had so much neck and shoulder tension, like stress tension, insane. I was like going to the chiropractor, I was getting these massages, I was getting all these treatments, and now I'm like, I don't like all these other things have resolved. I'm still lifting weights, I'm still exercising a lot, and I don't even have that like stress, like, my nervous system's more regulated. I just was like, holy shit, that wasn't something I was planning on, that wasn't something I was trying to resolve with this program. I was assuming I needed to like, go to a physical therapist or whatever. And that pain has really just like been taken away. So I know it's kind of a long-winded story, but yeah, just a couple big things that really stuck out to me in this process.
Yeah, it's wild, the like side effects of healthy habits. It's like, oh, definitely did not come in here for that. Like I was just going through this time of year during the launch, I'm going through like the testimonials and stuff, and I saw one that was from one of our members from a while ago, and he was like, I didn't realize that, my communication skills and like my relationships were gonna get way better from this program, but like that was a nice side effect of having all the habits too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool to see physical, mental, emotional, relational things really change. Also, think about all of the money that you're now saving because you're not going to the chiropractor and the massage therapist and physical therapy and like all of things. Like, I know we've had people talk about how they have also like not had to take so many supplements because their body, they're getting the kind of nutrients that they need from food. They might still be taking some, but they're not taking like, a whole cabinet's worth of supplements or, obviously like more heavy like prescription medications and things like that, because they're simply like having these lifestyle changes and it's making such a big impact on their life. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those things, Emily. I love it. Who's next?
I can go.
Yes, Erica, let's hear it.
So it was like how I felt when I started, right? That's okay.
Yeah. How you, yeah, and why you joined,
So
all that good stuff.
yeah. So at the time that I started, I was feeling pretty hopeless, because I felt like I was having a hard time getting a grip of my life. Like life would just happen and I was just going like along with it, like as if it was a wave and I'm just, in the middle of it and okay, and felt like I was having a hard time moving forward and doing things differently in my life to feel better. And I didn't know how to start or how that even looked like. And at the time, yeah, like I understood that things were happening in my body, but I wasn't sure how to resolve it. So, for example, like gut issues and, you know, fatigue and etc.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, I took the course because I really needed guidance, and it's been amazing so far. Like, well, I'm sure we'll talk about the other aspect of what happened or how it's changed.
Mm.
But yeah, at the time, like, I love that you asked to record yourself at the beginning because I was like, you can see in the video, like, I'm like not going through a good time in my life, you know?
No. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I really wasn't, I think it's so important when in those states to have guidance, to,
Mm.
to have actionable things. And I really needed that. So that's why I signed up.
Totally.
So,
Yeah. I always say structure creates freedom structure can create restriction, but structure creates freedom when we like know, okay, here's the step by step, here's what I'm going to do to like get it in order. A lot of times I help people, like I say that I help people with like adulting because
mhm,
we don't know these things. We weren't really ever taught these things, which are so foundational to the human experience and what we need to experience. So, would you mind telling us a little bit more about like the fatigue and the gut health and things like that, just to kind of paint a picture for people?
mhm. Yeah, so I was going through, um, I had left my corporate job and I was still going through the adjustment of all of that. And it opened up a lot of space to ask myself, okay, what am I going through? What does my body feel like? And yeah, like with my gut, like literally noticing that like with anything I would eat, like I would be bloated, just like very uncomfortable. It's so fun, right?
Mm.
Um, and also like I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. I would wake up and my stomach would feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And so my sleep was having a hard, like I wasn't sleeping and I'm a really good sleeper. Okay, with or without gut issues. And it got to a a point where I wasn't sleeping like I like to sleep, and that was
Mm.
all very hard for me. So then I had no energy to do anything during the day, or like, oh yeah, I don't know, like every task seemed very difficult to take on because of that. So
Yes, thank you for expounding on that. That's super, super helpful. Because I think, yeah, a lot of times we are like we don't feel like we have the bandwidth and the capacity to do what we actually want to do in our lives. We're like, I have all of these ideas, I have all of these things that I want to do, but like I don't have the energy to do it. I don't have, I'm feeling crappy in my body and I don't even know where to start. So yeah, so thank you so much for
of course.
giving us some more details on that. Yeah, awesome. All right, who's next? Jordan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Well, when I had my call, I ain't gonna lie, I probably needed therapy at the time. And I don't know, it just kind of fell out the sky for me, and I'm kind of glad it did. That's why I was so eager to jump in the program because it was just, after watching your videos before I actually wanted to do the consultation, it just seemed like everything I needed at the time. And I don't know, you kind of reassured me that, it was the way to go. How I was feeling, I don't, like I said, I probably needed therapy at the time. It's just like, I just needed some type of breath of fresh air, I felt like. And that's exactly what I got. So, you know, always happy to be here and
Mm.
stuff and plug in and just keep doing the work for myself. And it's definitely been a blessing thus far. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Can you
sure.
tell us a little bit more about like, okay, also disclaimer, like get therapy too.
Yeah, also, yeah, get therapy. It'll help
Get
in
therapy too.
conjunction with the program.
Yeah, you can
For
totally
sure.
do both. But do you want to tell us a little bit more about like what was going on that you say that?
I don't know, like it was hard for me to sleep. Um, I would always stay up at night. My eating habits weren't really as put together as they are now, as
Mm.
far as like nutrition and the things that I put in my body, like caffeine, energy drinks, constantly relying on that, taking supplements all the time, um, and just my overall mental capacity. I felt like a lot of stuff was out of my control as far as like everything. Like a lot of stuff was out of my control, and I just wasn't sure how to handle any of my problems. Um, Reaching out was kind of hard too.
Mm.
Family members, friends. I was difficult. Yeah, in my sleep. But I definitely learned how to, juggle everything these
Yeah.
days.
I remember you were sleeping like 4 hours a night.
Yeah, for no reason. I didn't even have my baby yet.
Yeah, right, right.
It was just me.
Yeah. You were
It's
like
no
playing
reason.
video games and stuff and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah. Yeah,
difficult.
we do these things that, and a lot of the things that we do is because, we're numbing, right? And we're trying to escape different parts of our lives, different parts of our minds. And so yeah, that's a big part of what we do in the program. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Jordan. And Jordan has since had a baby in the program as well, and his baby is so freaking cute.
He 14 months.
14 months. Oh my gosh.
14 months,
He's a
yeah.
November baby, right?
Yeah, November 27th, Sagittarius. He's a
Aw,
Sag. Yeah.
I love it. Sagittarius, just like
hmm
Todd.
Oh, for real? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thanks. Thanks, Jordan.
hmm
Kylie, would you like to go next?
Yes. Um, okay, I'm trying to find a way to sum it up. So, I recall when I started, like, just, I was like in a good place in life and like happy for the most part, but I had a lot of different kinds of body ailments. Like I had migraines on a really frequent basis. A lot of like stomach issues. I'd feel nauseous like almost daily. I had like super like inflamed acne and just like inflamed skin. Like all sorts of stuff like that. Itchy eyes, like just very like, itchy and inflamed. I felt kind of just out of control in my life and stressed, a lack of energy. I was the type of person that would, kind of when I could, back when I didn't have a baby, like just crawl into bed after work and just stay there, and not really do much after that. I was so drained. Um Struggled with consistency and like never really knew where to start with getting healthy. And another thing, I was, I mean, from a long time, I was so always just kind of in this battle of like trying to be healthy, trying to lose weight, trying to be a certain weight. Kind of there was always like taking up so much room in my mind of, what to eat, how much weight do I need to lose, how much should I weigh? I felt like, that was probably it took up like at least half my brain, it seems like back then. So that's what sticks out for me. And then just dealing with so much transitions too. That was like came up then in the middle, but was also relevant at the start of just dealing with uncertainty and, you know, maintaining a healthy lifestyle through those changes.
Oh my gosh, yes. I had one client at like from the very beginning who was like, if I put as much mental energy into like something else in my life that I have been putting into like trying to lose weight, trying to, eat the way I'm like quote unquote supposed to, all of those things. It's like she was like, I could have cured cancer at this point. Like it's like, oh my God, so much mental capacity. And I think that that is also like a tool of the patriarchy that like has women like just focusing on that because we don't have as much brain capacity when we are focused on that. It's so wild. So I'm so glad that well, we can talk a little bit more about like how that shifted for you. But yeah, it's so important to bring that to the forefront. And then also the energy levels. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have, I mean, so many people coming through Happy Healthy Habits. The energy levels are just like so drained and yeah, like people will just be like, I did what I needed, like absolutely needed to do for the day. And then it was like, I'm going to bed. So thank you for sharing about that. Yeah, I think that'll be really inspiring for people for sure. So thank you. Awesome. Okay. So next we're gonna go and bring in some sunshine and show people how you have kind of transformed these things. And maybe let's share. Well, yeah, let's start with that. Let's have you guys share what how things have transformed for you, where you are now, and if you've been in the program for a while, like maybe how they have continued to transform for you, or if you were in the program before, like how things, even after you like quote unquote graduated from the program, you have continued to be able to make these things a part of your reality and how things have continued to get better for you. That sounds good. Anyone want to go first? So the long and short is just share what your transformation was. I tend to be very wordy.
I guess I'll start since I started before. Yeah, I was actually reflecting on this the other day, like all the things that are part of my identity or my routine now. So as I mentioned before, the dinners, like I eat dinner much earlier now. My body has adjusted to that, which has impacted, I've always been a good sleeper and like never really stayed up super late anyways, but I feel like I'm more diligent. A huge thing, I think one of the very first things that I did was getting my phone out of the bedroom. I used to literally every night would like eat dinner at whatever 9:30 p.m., watch Netflix, lay in bed on my phone, and then I'm not tired, so then I'd take some type of sleep gummy to help me go to sleep, like literally almost every night. Never anymore. Like I leave my phone out of the bedroom. I have a, pretty solid night routine, which is simple. It's not this like elaborate hour-long thing.
Right.
Because that's just not for me. Um, so
Well, I
and then
think that's a lot of times what people think, like when they're like, well, I'm gonna do this program, so like I'm gonna have to like have all of these like crazy routines and like spend all of my time doing this stuff. And like that's definitely not the case.
no, not at all. Like very simple. I mean, you can, depending on your lifestyle, like you can make it as elaborate and luxurious if you want, as you want. But yeah, so I have like a pretty solid night routine. Same thing in the morning. Like I'm not, grabbing the coffee first thing. I have like I'm hydrating, doing all the like hydrating long before I have any coffee. Usually I even work out. Like coffee is like later and it's like 1 cup. I've like way weaned off of my caffeine so much. Um I've been better, I've been, building in kind of a daily meditation or, it's not I was meditating before, but it wasn't as consistent because I think I made it into like a whole thing, like, oh, it has to be 20 minutes or like if it's just
Yeah.
a few minutes to myself, like that's great. Um, what else? I don't know. I feel like a lot of things. Like I'm loving, I've learned so much about myself, and like the seasons and with Ayurveda. I already was familiar. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I'm pretty familiar with Ayurveda, but the knowledge and like how it just makes so much sense, just syncing up with nature and circadian rhythms. Like I just feel like I understand myself and how my body is reacting to things, and I'm able to make some tweaks to hope to then adjust how I'm feeling either mentally or physically. Just having that understanding is so key, and like aligning through the seasons. And now I'm like, when my friends are like, oh, I can't sleep or blah, like all these different things. And I'm like, well, it's Vata season. Why are you eating a raw salad and drinking a celery juice, lady? Like, that's not gonna feel great. Like, so just it's just so helpful. So I really just thinking adding up all the little things, creates really big change. And I also agree, the amount of brain space that I've spent on like health and food and fitness and weight and blah 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 is a lot. It's definitely gone down. I'm working on like not demonizing certain food groups that like I don't need to be dairy free because dairy doesn't really bother me. Like I always was like dairy is bad, 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 bad. Like because someone on Instagram told me I should be a vegan. I don't know. So, so there you have it. Lots of changes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of times that people also think, so they think that they are going to have all of these like crazy elaborate things that they're going to have to do, if they commit to happy healthy habits. And then the other thing they think is that they're going to have to spend more time thinking about what they're eating and more time thinking about like food and their body and all of that kind of thing, but actually it ends up being that they think about it less when they go through this, and it actually frees up so much mental space, the mental capacity. It's so wild. Amazing. Thank you, Emily. Who's next?
I could share next.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I'm again trying to sum up everything, so if I miss anything or you want to ask me any leading questions, let me know. But
Sounds good.
I think like the concept that was most like transformational for me is just I think, tuning my body in like into that kind of cyclical nature, and looking at myself with more compassion and realizing, it's things aren't going to be the same across the entire year. And, especially like the female body is just so cyclical, and like that's okay. And I think that was such an important concept for me to grasp in pregnancy, that, it's we're kind of like shapeshifters, and things change and we go through different stages and have different needs. And I feel like I was really able to view myself through a lens of compassion for the first time, instead of judgment. And, I'm still like not perfect and fall in and out of like alignment with my health, but I feel like the difference now is I'm able to um not feel like that sense of shame and like heavy weight carrying around, and I'm able to like look at it more of like, oh, like, where did things start to slip, and what was the reason for that, and how can I start getting back on track, and seeing it more as like an opportunity and like something exciting. um and yeah, I'm thinking
Wait, say
about,
more about that. Say more
oh,
about seeing it as something exciting, because that's a really good point.
yeah, well, now I see it as like, oh, like I can't wait to like feel good again, because I'm not feeling well right now. So like it's, an
Oh
opportunity. And
God.
yeah. And um when I was pregnant, I had like some complications or like health issues. And so one, just learning to be like, I was in the program with that, so it was nice to like have that support, um just for my mental state, and like just being okay with that, and getting some, help with some of the things I was experiencing. And, I like some of the things like I just wasn't in the space to integrate, but then I actually ended up integrating them like a lot once I had the baby. And, I came into a space of like, maybe for a little while after my son was born, of being like, oh man, I don't have the time to do anything. Like I can't do anything. But then, just switching it to like, what can I do? Um, because I felt so much like extra weight on my body. I had a lot of it, and um just felt like a lack of energy. So I just tried to just tune into my body and during that time like of postpartum. And I feel like I never really even like dieted, and I've never been like a gym person or like somebody that works out. So what I did was basically just kind of tap into my body and just, I guess, like feel what I needed to do like intuitively in terms of food, and just really focused on more like energy and nutrition to like be there for my son. And then for exercise, all I did was walk and then like dance with my baby in my arms. So it was kind of like a weight. So we would just dance for like, you know, an hour every night and to get my heart rate going. And like that ended up being perfect for me. And I actually lost like 60 pounds, and it was 20 pounds less than my pre-pregnancy weight. And I feel like I ended up at like such just my like homeostasis weight, where I feel like just, light on my feet, but I look like myself, and I feel good, and I just like I can kind of eat whatever and stay at this weight, I guess. And it just happened really naturally. I didn't really do anything or think about it much. And it was like a really pleasant and empowering experience to like get back to that sense of healthiness after I had my son, and felt so sick during my pregnancy. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember you feeling so sick. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is incredible. I didn't know it was 60 pounds. I thought it was 30. That's wow.
Yeah, that was, I think, when I first started trying was 30, and then yeah, just kept coming off for like, and that was over the course of like a year. So it wasn't like fast or anything, but I think that's kind of the best way to do it. But yeah, it ended up being 60.
Wow, wow. That is, I mean, that's a pretty incredible testimonial. And the other thing is that like you weren't actually, it wasn't about the weight. Like it was just about how you wanted to feel. And I think that's what people end up, a lot of people come into Happy Healthy Habits like being like, okay, I want to lose some weight, which is totally fine. There's no like good, bad. You're not bad if you want to lose weight. And by the end, usually it's like, oh yeah, well, I lost like however many pounds, but that's not, I don't even care about that anymore. Right? So that's awesome. And then how about like your skin and your fatigue and all of that kind of thing too?
Yes, that definitely improved so much. And my skin is something that got better, um, like the first half of
Yeah,
the
before you
program.
got pregnant, I remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
stayed good most of the time, and then like got really bad again after the baby, and then like got back into alignment, you know, and now it's like the best it's ever been. Like I haven't had that like itchy inflamed acne at all anymore. And I remember right before I started the program, I was like, oh, I might do Accutane, you know, and I was like, well, I should probably try everything before I do that because it like, you know, has a lot of impacts across your whole body. So, you know, I don't really know what it was that helped my skin, you know, but I think just again, just that tapping into like what I really need, you know, and just being aligned with the seasons, you know, thinking, but just putting more intention, I think, into my health.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd and I earlier today were talking about how we often think that we're like supposed to do all of these like optimizy like biohacking things and stuff, and it's like, oh, if you want to get this result you've got to do this thing, and really it comes down to the basic health habits, and not like forcing yourself to do them and like, you know, making it a really, really big, intense thing, but actually automating them so that you don't have to think about them. So they're not taking up mental space in your mind. And so it's just part of your everyday life. And that's what we do. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Kylie. That's really incredible. I'm just so grateful that you came and you, I mean, you've got your baby and stuff and you made the time. Like I'm so grateful. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jordan or Erica, do you want to go next? You're playing chicken.
Okay, I'll go.
I love it.
So since I started the program, just like the benefits, like basically the opposite, like 100% from when I first started. Now it's been in a few years. Um, my energy, definitely went up. I lost like maybe 15 pounds that I've been staring at in the mirror for the longest. That finally just dropped off.
I didn't even know
Um,
that.
and like I think like it was just perfect timing because like right before I joined the program, I went vegetarian or vegan, and like I was searching for like information and things like that. But as I started to learn more about like nutrition and my health and just feeding my body the right way, um, it really slingshotted me to be, vegetarian for 3 to 4 years.
Mhm.
Um, I eat meat now, but still consciously. Um, and as far as like, my workouts, being in a program kind of just helped me have more energy to be in the gym and, hit different weight goals and stuff like that in a healthy way without like overfeeding my body or anything like that. Um, and as far as like the way I fed myself, I was able to like meal prep and still feel like, satiated throughout the day without eating at night because eating at night, kind of like you feel kind of tired in the morning. So it kind of helped me with that. Um, so energy and my skin definitely cleared up. I used to have like blackheads like crazy. Um, and then that kind of just went away as well. And I mean, just better sleep. I feel like those three, like, just really changed my life. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, some of that stuff I didn't
Seriously.
even realize. I didn't even know. So I'm like, thank you for sharing. It's so great. It's so crazy because it's like there are so many different things. So I've heard from you before about how it's been like how you've changed things and how it's been, so different for you since you started. But
Mhm.
like, yes, still things still come up that you're like, oh yeah, this thing too, and like this thing too. It's really cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I know you've also like experienced a lot more like mental clarity and stuff, and like purpose and like feeling excited about like getting passionate about like different like business things and like different educational things and stuff too, which has been
Hmm.
to be a part of. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
awesome.
Hmm.
Thanks, Jordan.
Okay.
All right, Erica, now it's your turn.
For me, I think what's helped me, I still don't have a lot of the habits down, okay? That's a reality. But right now, I feel like it's becoming more automatic doing the earlier, lighter dinners
Mhm.
and also sleeping earlier, which is like for me that was like almost impossible in my life, you know? So now that I'm like honoring my body more and just thinking about it more, um, it's really helped me to feel better the next day. Like I feel like I have more energy and it's helped me like show up for basic chores, like even just washing dishes and stuff like that that when I was tired, it was like painful to do, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I've noticed that I've become more conscious about, okay, if I'm going to eat this, I know I will feel bad.
Mm.
So I go off of how I feel after I eat something now. Like, unfortunately, I had to accept that like I can't eat pizza and pasta anymore. Like it's so
Oh.
sad. Okay? It is depressing. But now I've like tested it a couple of times, like 5 times, because there's no good and bad or like whatever, but I
Yeah.
realized like, oh man, like I need to stay away from this. So now I've stayed away from it
Yeah.
and it wasn't an easy decision, but like now I'm going off of how I feel. And I've also like been able to not feel bad about it. Like I really love how you incorporate the whole like taking away the morale of things. So I notice that sometimes when I get stressed, like I automatically like go buy cookies. Like I have like a little bit of a sugar addiction, you know? So now instead of like feeling bad and like it's like, okay, I'm eating this cookie right now and like, okay, what's going on? Like I see it as like a,
Yeah.
you know, like getting to know myself, like what's happening, like why am I stressed? Um, and then it's easier for me to just not go there again. I haven't been perfect with the whole like earlier, lighter dinners. It's been like a process because if you do earlier, lighter dinners, then you have to eat better in the afternoon. So I've been trying to eat more in the afternoon. And if I don't for whatever reason, then I try to just eat light, even if it's 8:30 or like I'm not going to starve myself, right? So it's been good about like, okay, also think about that. And then
Well, and can I also
yeah,
just say that like it's like
yeah,
so I mean, it's so cool to have you explaining like how because you're like in process right now, right?
yes,
Like it's like we have people who are like, "Oh, like here's where I was, here's how far I've come." And you're like, "Here's where I was, I'm still in process. Here's how far I've come, and I've only
yes.
done like the first half of it."
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like how
Like the sleep and the
cool.
first habit, like the early the oh in the oh yeah. In the mornings I've also been incorporating things that like automatically like okay, I'm still not at the meditation part or workout part in the mornings, but I feel like I try to feed my mind something positive. Like I'm taking another program as well that's focused on like other things and it helps it's more mental, right? So it like helps my mind to be on the right mindset in the mornings or I'm not going on my phone in the mornings. I stay away from my phone. Like those things are becoming more automatic. And also another thing, I'm drinking less alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I've never really had like an issue like, fortunately. Um But now, like the other day, being at a party and I had the option to even like I was going to spend the night and everything, and I just had a beer and I asked myself like, do I really want like another like it takes effort to get drunk, like So it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I didn't. And I just had so much fun. And on New Year's, I also did it. And I had a lot of fun. And I don't know. That's been
Wow.
nice. It's been like a thing that has been kind of on my mind.
That is so cool. Yeah, it's just you're just tapping in. Like, and so I want, I want people to, as they're watching this, I want people to like really hear that it's like, even if you're, even as you're only, starting with these first, you've got kind of like 3 habits down. You've got like the
Haha.
three down that you've started automating, which is really cool. And something I'll also say is that sometimes when we automate things, we even forget about them. So you were like, oh, the morning thing too. I forgot that
Yeah.
because
And the water.
yeah, it's like I'm already doing, so we forget that we automate things. Um, and that's a good sign because that means that it's automated because we're not trying anymore. Um, but so even with these first things, as you first come into the program, you have like massive, massive leaps and bounds because you're waking up not feeling as tired the next day. And now you're just like, do I want that? Not really. No. And you're like experimenting with different things and how it actually makes you feel. It's so freaking cool. It's been so fun
Yes.
to
And
watch.
also, I think it's important to add, okay, I suffer from being a perfectionist and I'm still working on it. And
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I still haven't gotten like the workout aspect done, just because it's like I'm still working through that with my perfectionism, like the all or nothing
Mhm.
mentality. And I think I'm like slowly healing that aspect of like it's okay
Mm.
to not do things perfectly. Like I'm still working on it. Like I still kind of feel bad. Like, like I could be so much more along if I like, committed more, but I'm trying my best to have it be a slow process.
Yes, totally. I mean, the perfectionism thing is huge. And sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not a perfectionist. Like, I don't need things to be perfect. But the all or nothing is a lot of times what people are like, oh, I guess I do that. Like, where it's like, I have to do it, maybe not perfectly, but I have to do it right. I have to do it the way you're supposed to do it. And it's like, well, are there even right ways to do it? Are there even like supposed to's? So yeah, so I think that is like when people come into the program, like that's the first thing that starts to shift, and then it shifts other things too, not just food and exercise and like habits, but like washing the dishes or like cleaning up our house, these different things that we feel a lot more capable of if we're not needing to do it perfectly every single time. So yeah, really, really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Erica and everyone. I just want to check on the time. Oh, we'll be able to get you out of here at a good time. But um, does anybody want to share anything else that they feel like would be beneficial for people to hear who are thinking about joining Happy Healthy Habits, who are maybe on the fence, who maybe just need to hear that one thing of like, this is going to work for you?
I guess just to recognize if like immediately you're having like a reaction to like, oh, I can't do that. Like, no way. That's never going to work with my schedule. Or that's never like I've been doing this my whole life for whatever reason. Obviously, I'm not a parent, but we have parents in this group, like people with very busy lives from all walks of life. And it's very much something that you can implement in whatever season of life that you're in, and that's okay if that's your immediate reaction. Like that was my reaction, like no way in hell am I going to eat dinner that early. Like I've done that was like my identity. Like I'm like I eat late at night, everybody knows it.
I'm European.
I know, I was like I eat like a Spaniard, because that's just who I thought I was. But yeah, so if that immediately comes to mind, just like to maybe think about it a little differently, or recognize like, oh, why am I so resistant to that? Yeah.
Yeah. And if I were to change some things, like could that be the thing that's gonna make the biggest difference? A lot of times when we have resistance, it's like that's what's pointing us to what would actually make the biggest difference. So yeah, thank you. Awesome. Anyone else wanna jump in?
I will just echo that I agree. That I think it's not about doing everything perfectly, and I think there can be fear of like, oh, I'm gonna have to change my life completely. I think a shift for me was thinking of like you're adding things instead of taking them away, and like losing that mindset of like restriction and like a sense of like loss, I guess, because it doesn't have to feel like that or be like that. And you don't have to like take away things that are comfortable for you all at once. It can be more of like adding something or implementing it. And that was helpful for me to know, for incorporate, I guess.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I think a big thing that we talk about in Happy Healthy Habits is that all of this is here to serve you. Like you're not here to do a bunch of chores, like to do a bunch of things that you're like supposed to do. It's all here in service to you. And when we can kind of shift that narrative where it's like, oh, okay, this is actually going to make me feel this way. And do I want to feel that way or do I want to feel this way? And kind of shifting it so it's all like it's all here in service to how we want to feel, how we want to be in our lives, all of that kind of thing, rather than us being like forcing ourselves to do these things because we think we should or because we think it'll change the way our body looks or whatever it is. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. Thank you, Kylie.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because when I started, it was really difficult for me to think that way. It was very difficult for me to understand that. Like, oh yeah, right. Like, yeah, sure. Like when you work out, you are healthier and yeah, like, you know, instead of,
Yes.
oh, like this is going to serve me. Like, okay. Like it took me a while to understand that part, you know? Yeah. And I also, one thing that was kind of like hard for me at the beginning, and I had to overcome actually, was that like I was super excited about the live calls, remember? And I was like, okay, if I have a live call and all that, like I know I can commit. And I know because I know how my brain works. I know it, and yeah, I it happened to be that I'm like one of the three people that can't make the weekly calls, right? So it was just life showing me something, I guess. And so at first it was hard for me to overcome that. And like, I went through all the feels and whatever. And I'm just happy to know that, like, yeah, maybe I'm not advancing as quick as I would like, maybe, you know, but I am still advancing and the information is actually working and I am implementing things and it's working regardless. And I make as much as I can, you know? So yeah, that's another thing that's important. It's not like another one of those programs where you like sign up and you never do anything because I've done that before. And that's what I wanted to avoid. Right.
Right.
So
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like, even if you can't or don't do all pieces of the program, you'll still have like massive, massive, massive shifts. Like we've had
Yeah.
people who have not come to a single call and then like who will message me and be like, wow, I got so much out of this. Or we'll have people who come to a lot of the live calls, but they like don't even do any of the modules. And they're like, wow, it completely changed everything. So it's like all of it again is here to serve you. Whatever you can do is enough, and we'll get you there, and we'll make
Mhm.
sure that that you get there. We'll kind of support you along the way. Obviously you got to do put in some work, but we want you to succeed. And I've done lots of programs like that too, Erica, where I'm like, I bought that. and I never looked at it again. Whoops. So
Yeah.
that's not what this is.
I know.
We are very much here for you. We're cheering you on along the way and everything. So yeah. Thank you for saying that. Anyone else wanna chime in with some last thoughts for people who are thinking about joining?
Just that this community is just the coolest, most beautiful thing I have ever encountered. And that we all pull each other up, and I've met people in this program or reconnected with people I haven't spoken to in a long time. And it's just been magical. We all push each other to be better, and also um, support and celebrate everybody's wins as we move through life together. And it's just a really unique community to be a part of. Everybody's just trying to become the best version of themselves, and it's just really cool.
Yeah. I know it's always so hard for me to explain how impactful the community piece is, because I think a lot of times people again think like, oh, it's an online course, there's going to be like, you know, a Facebook group or whatever, which we don't have a Facebook group. We use our own app. But people think that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like you can like kind of connect with other people, whatever. But the community piece, we are so like everyone's so obsessed with each other. It's so cute. Like it makes me so happy to see, you know, people rooting each other on, people connecting outside of it, people really just wanting the very, very best for each other. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's beyond anything that I could do just one-on-one with people, right? Like that's why the group community is like, it's so, so important. So yeah, thanks for bringing that in, Sarah. Awesome. All right. Jordan, did you want to say something, or you just want to give you the space?
I could just say, yeah, the group is very supportive, and you might not come for a while because of whatever you have going on, but when you come in, like, you know, everybody's very supportive, and you kind of feel like you never miss anything because you're exactly where you need to be, and that's how you feel each time you plug in. Um, so I just encourage anyone that, you know, might want to sign up, go ahead and sign up. It's a great place to be, and it's life changing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's a really, really cool space. I don't even know how I got so lucky to to have all
It's
of
a
you.
vibe.
It's a vibe. It is a vibe. I love it. Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. So if you have been thinking about joining Happy Healthy Habits, hopefully this was helpful for you to be able to see like whether or not it is a good fit for you. If you would like to chat with me further, we've got till tomorrow. So tomorrow at midnight, doors closed. So you got to sign up before then. But if you'd like to chat with me, just reach out. I will send you a link to schedule a Zoom call with me. We can talk through your goals. We can talk through how things have gone for you in the past, how things, you know, what your goals are for the future, and whether or not we can kind of fill that gap. You can message me and I'll send you that. And if you're already like, this is awesome, I'm sold, you can sign up for Happy Healthy Habits on my website. And I've sent out the link so many different times this week, but if you need it, you can always DM me. And yeah, I'm sending you all so much love who've been watching this. And you guys are so incredible. Thank you so much for being on here and sharing your stories, sharing your transformations, and sharing that, like, you know, some of it is like sharing the very real parts of the stories and stuff too, because I think that's important. So people aren't just like, oh, you go in and like they just like don't really know what happens inside of it. So I think just creating that transparency is really helpful for people to see the kinds of things that we do in the program as well. So again, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of all of you. I love you all so much, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love.
Thanks, Hadley.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.